Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes Wuxi App Tech, Wuxi Bio slump as U.S. lawmakers seek formal probe. China's South City stock sinks 20% in Hong Kong after bond default warning. Hong Kong invites overseas museum, arts leaders to summit to foster cooperation. Hong Kong's Ha He wins World Breaststroke Bronze, and it's only her fun event. Hong Kong land and housing supply must flow even in a downturn. Wuxi App Tech, Wuxi Bio slump as U.S. lawmakers seek formal probe. Bloomberg. Shares of Wuxi App Tech and Wuxi Biologics fell in Hong Kong as U.S. lawmakers called for a formal investigation into the companies, potentially putting them on sanctions lists. The lawmakers claim that the Chinese companies pose a threat to U.S. intellectual property and national security. Wuxi App Tech has denied the allegations, stating that its business does not pose security risks to any country. Both stocks have seen a significant decline in value since the start of the year, falling almost 50% each. Wuxi Biologics has become the most volatile stock in Asia in the past 10 trading days. China's South City stock sinks 20% in Hong Kong after bond default warning. South China Morning Post. Chinese developer China's South City Holdings has seen its shares plunge 20% to a new 52-week low after the company warned it would default on multiple bonds maturing this year. The company said sales had been below expectations, and cash flow only sufficient to fund daily operations. The defaults could lead to other payment obligations failing, leading to significant adverse effects for the company, including insolvency or other forms of restructuring. Hong Kong invites overseas museum, arts leaders to summit to foster cooperation. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong's West Kowloon Cultural District Authority is expected to sign agreements with around 30 overseas arts and cultural institutions at the International Cultural Summit in March. The summit will feature a discussion on how arts hubs affect a city socially and economically, and will consider the implications of technologies such as blockchain and artificial intelligence for the sector. The event will mark the start of the city's Art Week and coincide with Art Basel, Hong Kong. Officials from 10 of the world's top 40 art museums and cultural centers will attend. Hong Kong's Ha He wins World Breaststroke Bronze, and it's only her fun event. South China Morning Post. Siobhan Ha He of Hong Kong won a bronze medal in the 100-meter breaststroke event at the World Aquatics Championships in Doha. She described the event as a fun one for her. China's Tang Qianting won the gold medal, taking advantage of the absence of U.S. world record holder Lily King. Ha He also qualified for the 200-meter freestyle final. Adam Peaty, the world record holder in the 100-meter breaststroke, qualified for the final in the non-Olympic 50m event. Daniel Whiffen of Ireland qualified for the 800-meter freestyle final. Tomoru Honda of Japan will compete for his first world title in the 200-meter butterfly event. Hong Kong land and housing supply must flow even in a downturn. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong should continue with land creation and housing construction projects despite recent fluctuations in the property market, according to analysts from think tank Our Hong Kong Foundation. The city is facing a deficit of more than 110 billion Hong Kong dollars, $14.1 billion, for the 2023-24 financial year, but the analysts said the government should press on with land creation and housing construction to avoid a repeat of the 10-year hiatus experienced in the 1990s, which led to housing shortages and social problems. The analysts suggested dividing larger plots into smaller land parcels to make them more affordable for smaller developers. Hong Kong's talent base can fuel further growth in Asian private credit, Applemas CEO. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong's investor base expertise in lending is contributing to the growth of Asia's private credit market. According to James Hogan, CEO of the Asia-Pacific Loan Market Association, APLMA, the region's assets under management in private credit have increased more than 3.5 times in the last decade to $81.3 billion in 2022. APLMA, which provides template documents and guidance notes for the loan market, said the growth has attracted banks, asset managers, family offices, and private equity firms. In Hong Kong, we are blessed with quality and sophisticated market participants, Hogan said. China stocks in Hong Kong slide as market reopens from holiday. Bloomberg. Chinese equities listed in Hong Kong fell as trading resumed after the Lunar New Year holiday. Investors are still uncertain about policymakers' willingness to stop the ongoing market decline, and are evaluating the drop in U.S. markets following a higher-than-expected inflation reading. China's efforts to revive the stock market have had limited impact, as structural issues such as deflationary pressure, the property market crisis, and tensions with the West continue to weigh on investors. Other factors are also affecting investor sentiment, such as MSCI Incorporated's decision to delete a number of Chinese stocks from its indexes and China's record-high credit growth in January. Investors will be watching for policy signals from Beijing, as well as clues about the trajectory of policy by the Federal Reserve and other major central banks. Hong Kong's top housing estates saw 0 deals during holiday. Bloomberg. During the Lunar New Year holiday, Hong Kong's top 10 private housing estates saw no sales for the first time since records began in 2010. This lack of activity indicates that Hong Kong's housing slump is likely to continue, as rising interest rates and an economic slowdown in China take their toll. Buyers are reportedly waiting for more government measures to aid the property market, which may be announced in the city's annual budget later this month. Investors want Beijing to do more to keep the $380 billion stock rally going. South China Morning Post. China will need to do more to convince investors that the recent stock market rally is sustainable, according to fund managers. While measures to prop up stocks have led to the recovery of $377 billion of capitalization on mainland and Hong Kong markets, investors will shift their focus to the economy and corporate earnings once excitement about the bailout measures fades. Economic and corporate fundamentals in China remain grim, with deflationary pressure deepening in January and bellwether companies posting lower profits. A clear approach to market-friendly policies is vital to revive confidence among entrepreneurs and investors, who have been traumatized by restrictive policies and curbs on the tech industry. First FT, Imran Khan's rivals nominate Shehbaz Sharif as Prime Minister. Financial Times. Pakistan's Pakistan Muslim League (PMLN) has nominated Shehbaz Sharif, the younger brother of former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, to be the country's new leader. The move comes after last week's election, in which PMLN received fewer seats than expected, while the party led by former PM Imran Khan ended up as the largest group in parliament. However, with no party winning a majority, the PMLN has entered coalition talks with other parties. The Pakistan People's Party of Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has announced that it will support the PMLN's choice for Prime Minister. The PMLN was initially seen as the favorite in the election, but Khan's PTI party saw a surge of support. Asia stocks to follow U.S. route after inflation miss, markets wrap. Bloomberg. Asian stocks are expected to fall after U.S. inflation data surpassed expectations, leading to a sell-off on Wall Street. Equity futures indicated a drop of over 1% in Tokyo and Sydney. U.S. consumer price inflation exceeded estimates, causing two-year Treasury yields to rise to levels not seen since December. The U.S. dollar also approached a 3-month high. The CPI data came as a disappointment for investors after a recent decline in price pressures that had built expectations for rate cuts this year. Job seekers, employers in Hong Kong's financial sector start 2024 on cautious note. South China Morning Post. Job seekers in Hong Kong's financial services sector are proceeding with caution following layoffs, stalled deal-making, and the stock market hitting record lows. Poor market performance and uncertainty about the future are causing concern among job seekers, who are worried about job security and hesitant to leave stable positions. However, recruiters are cautiously optimistic, hoping for a pickup in the job market in the second half of the year. Value of Chinese firms listed on U.S. stock exchanges fell significantly in 2023. South China Morning Post. The value of Chinese firms listed on U.S. stock exchanges fell significantly in 2021 as Beijing pressured state-owned entities to return to domestic listings, according to a congressional review. The number of Chinese firms listed on U.S. exchanges rose slightly from 252 to 256, but their combined value declined by 17.5% to $848 billion. Chinese company profits and share prices have been hit by a range of factors, including limited transparency and concerns over national security, the report said. It also highlighted the questionable legal status of many Chinese firms listed in the U.S. Some 166 companies listed on U.S. exchanges use a variable interest entity structure, which allows Chinese firms to circumvent restrictions on foreign stakes in sensitive sectors by giving shareholders stakes in an offshore shell company. In the Golden Triangle, long-dead drug warlords hold visitors in thrall. Nikkei Asia. The borders of Thailand, Myanmar, and Laos, where Kun Sao once ruled the opium trade, are once again attracting criminal gangs, with crime lords now using data mining, blockchain technology, and generative artificial intelligence to do their illicit business, according to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. The Golden Triangle is a hotbed of drug trafficking, money laundering, and cybercrime, with criminal gangs diversifying into methamphetamine production and scams. Money from these activities is laundered through casinos in special economic zones in Myanmar and Laos. The U.S. Treasury Department announced sanctions against the King's Romans Casino in the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone in Laos, describing it as Southeast Asia's most conspicuous criminal enclave. The Golden Triangle's advantage as a criminal headquarters is Myanmar's inability to control its lawless border regions, enabling local warlords to fund breakaway mini-states through crime. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your guide to the latest news from the 6 Degrees world. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines today. First up, shares of Wuxi AppTec and Wuxi Biologics have fallen in Hong Kong as U.S. lawmakers call for a formal investigation into the companies. The lawmakers claim that the Chinese companies pose a threat to U.S. intellectual property and national security. Meanwhile, Chinese developer China South City Holdings has seen its shares plunge after warning of multiple bond defaults. Both of these stories highlight the challenges faced by Chinese companies in the global market. In other news, Hong Kong is inviting overseas museum and arts leaders to a summit to foster cooperation. The event will explore the impact of arts hubs on cities and consider the implications of technologies like blockchain and artificial intelligence. This is an exciting opportunity for Hong Kong to showcase its vibrant arts scene and strengthen cultural ties with the international community. On the sports front, Hong Kong's Siobhan Haughey won a bronze medal in the 100-meter breaststroke event at the World Aquatics Championships. She described the event as a fun one for her, proving that sometimes taking a light-hearted approach can lead to success. Moving on, analysts are urging Hong Kong to continue with land creation and housing construction projects, despite recent fluctuations in the property market. This is an important reminder that long-term planning is crucial to avoid housing shortages and social problems. In the finance sector, Hong Kong's talent base is fueling further growth in Asian private credit. The region's assets under management in private credit have increased significantly in the past decade, attracting banks, asset managers, and private equity firms. Hong Kong's quality and sophisticated market participants are playing a key role in this growth. Now let's turn our attention to the auto industry. While self-driving vehicles have faced challenges, there is still hope for the industry in 2024. Companies like Waymo and Baidu are expanding their services, and startups in Texas are planning to dispatch autonomous trucks. The industry is also focusing on developing advanced driver assistance systems to improve safety on the roads. In the world of finance, investors are looking for more from Beijing to sustain the recent stock market rally in China. Economic and corporate fundamentals in China remain grim, and a clear approach to market-friendly policies is needed to revive confidence among entrepreneurs and investors. Lastly, we have news from Pakistan, where the Pakistan Muslim League has nominated Shehbaz Sharif as the country's new leader. This comes after last week's election, in which the party led by former PM Imran Khan ended up as the largest group in parliament. The political landscape in Pakistan is evolving, and it will be interesting to see how this plays out. That's all for today's news. Remember, I'm Dr. Six, and I'll be back with more updates soon. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these stories. What do you think about the challenges faced by Chinese companies in the global market? How do you think Hong Kong can continue to address its housing shortage? Share your ideas and questions in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.